Because now if you go on Twitter, for example, all this N-word thing that people would argue about, there are white people that have entire pages, they don't do anything other than carry a microphone and just be like, yeah, they're doing it now because they've been in a box.
So, on social change, rights expanded across race, gender, and sexuality, but cultural wars and polarization dominate discourse. Is progress being undermined by division?
That's a very good question, and I would say yes, just to answer very quickly, but my explanation for it might get tricky. Let me try to put it in the right way. I think the acceptance that we have today, the rights that have expanded across race, gender, and sexuality, I agree with it. I think everyone should be able to be whatever they want to be and have equal rights while being that. I think what was needed to achieve the progress that we have today is probably why there's also now a huge polarization and culture war. And I'll give the example.
Okay.
Whether it's the sexuality thing, right? There was a point where it's a case of we're not trying to convince you, we're not trying to make it fair, we just want to take over. We just want you to accept and shush. It's the same thing with the race thing as well. What I've seen with the race thing, for example, in the US is there were still white people, for example, that were still racist, that you now had to force into the cupboard, right? It wasn't an acceptance out of, I now understand. It was a forced acceptance of, if you don't understand, then you're the worst human possible. And I'm not saying, I'm not saying I don't feel the pain of when someone is racist. I'm black. I understand that. But I would rather have someone be racist to me than be in a forced shell of acceptance and behind my back be extremely racist, because they will even be worse behind the back. Do you know what I mean? So like you got everyone in the society smiling and saying we accept, and deep down they are deep down it's the devil down there saying black you're my friend. You know what I mean?
I see that differently though.
I think the way that was achieved by forcing everyone into the box that the society needed is why this polarization is coming, because what then happened is the box got full. Now you got powerful people that were like, that man. Yeah, you got people that had unbelievable amount of money that then decided that, you can't force me to do anymore. And then those people spoke up, because now if you go on Twitter, for example, all this N-word thing that people would argue about, there are white people that have entire pages, they don't do anything other than carry a microphone and just be like, yeah, they're doing it now because they've been in a box, covered, pretending as if we have made progress.
I mean, you could definitely argue that for a lot of things, right? For me, I would say, I think the balance would be for sure the way, because I don't think the opposite of that is also good. I feel like to some extent, we have to sort of accommodate other people, and that means sort of being accommodating, if that makes sense. You have to sort of not shrink yourself necessarily or hide some of the things that maybe you don't like, just so society can sort of have a common denominator, if that makes sense. You get what I'm trying to say?
I understand what you're saying, but for me, every time I think about the situation, I always knew that they didn't have, like in the US, they didn't have something right yet. My go-to is always to use the law, but now work hand in hand to use the law to ensure equal rights and respect, which means you be whatever you want to be, even if it's racist, as long as you're not trampling on my rights. We don't have to be friends.
Yeah.
You should know that you are what you are and what we are. You don't like me, I don't need that. Don't trample on my rights. But I think we moved into the direction of, no, but you still have to like me. You still have to accept me.
Yeah, I think that's what I mean by the balance. Like, you for sure don't want to force people. I think you want to educate people. You want to sort of put the awareness there, and it should be coming from a space where you should maybe tell people or let people be aware that, see, you don't have to like people to get along with them. But when you force people to, no one want to be told what he or she has to do, right? I think that's the problem.
Exactly.
It's like, you can't tell me like
Exactly.
I shouldn't do this when I'm feeling like this internally. But when you tell me, you know what, I get what you feel or how you're feeling, but it's just necessary for, and I think men, we do operate in that from that perspective, right? Like, you would put aside a lot of things just to achieve a common goal. And I would say, I think with sexuality, with gender, I think those are the ones that are easily fixable, especially like we're saying in the US. But the tricky one is the race thing. I've thought about it a lot, and I don't necessarily see an easy way out. Some people would say, yeah, segregation. Some people would say this, black excellence, this and that. I don't know. I think the problem is how the white and black race was given birth to. I think the history that could never be erased, that was problematic for sure, is the problem why this is not, people feel differently about this, and there is no one simple way to sort of fix this, unless maybe we go back in time.
No, you're absolutely right. And for me, I would argue that there can only be unity and equality in the face of the law. And this is what the US is still not getting right. A consensus on the law of humanity would mean abstracting completely from race and saying, this is the law, this is how it should be. And in every moment that the law is applied, sometimes they allow some loopholes that allow, for example, black people to suffer from the law more than white people.
For the exact same crime, for sure. Yeah.
Every single time that happens, that's when some sort of investigative team from the presidency need to go pick up that judge and be like, I don't care what you thought you were thinking. This is ABC. This is ABC. If this person have more this and this, then it has to be simple. You are no longer fit to be a judge. The problem with that is that the race of the president, the race of the people in control of the system now comes into play, and it makes it very difficult. So my point is that a clear solution to even achieve what I've described now, I don't see it.
But then the question of, is it worse off compared to 1975? I'm not even sure. Because 1975,
I don't think it's worse off.
Yeah, I think it's better, right?
I think it's frustrating. Yeah, this is the one thing that I would still give, that at least now a black person can stand in front of a white person and be like, you, and nothing will happen. They can off and puff. Nothing will happen.
I don't think that would be a United States black president in 1975 either.
Exactly. That's another thing. Yeah, and a gay guy can literally just walk around and gay. Artists, people, celebrities, you have that now as well.
Okay, that's a straight win, yeah. Because I'm thinking women also are like CEOs and stuff, man. 1975, nah.
So the progress is undermined by division, because it's showing us that even though we have come so far, there's still so much to do. But simply comparing 2025 to 1975, social change wise, we've made a huge progress. At least the US has made a huge progress.